I thought I knew my 8-year-old daughter. I thought I understood her silences, her sudden mood changes, the way she'd stopped asking me to read bedtime stories. I was wrong. Dead wrong. And if I hadn't found that notebook hidden under her mattress 3 days before her 9th birthday, I would have lost her forever. What she'd been writing in those pages, what she'd been planning, what she'd been hiding from me for months, it changed everything. But what destroyed me completely was the last entry. The one dated for her birthday. The one that started with, "Daddy will be happier when I'm gone." My name is Marcus Chen, and I'm a single father to the most incredible little girl in the world. Or at least, I thought I was doing okay as her dad until the night I discovered I'd been failing her in ways I never imagined possible. It started 6 months ago when my ex-wife Jessica moved to Portland with her new husband. The divorce had been finalized 2 years earlier, but she'd stayed in Chicago until then, sharing custody of our daughter Emma. When she left, Emma cried for 3 days straight. Then she stopped crying altogether. She stopped talking much too. I figured it was normal, kid misses her mom, needs time to adjust. I was an idiot. I work as a software engineer for a startup downtown. Good money, flexible hours, but the pressure is intense. We're always 3 months away from either getting bought by Google or going completely bankrupt. I'd been pulling 60-hour weeks trying to keep us afloat while being both mother and father to Emma. The signs were all there. I just didn't know how to read them. Emma stopped eating her favorite foods. She'd push around the mac and cheese I made every Wednesday, our tradition, and claim she wasn't hungry. She stopped asking for help with homework, even though I knew she was struggling with fractions. She stopped leaving her drawings on the refrigerator. She stopped singing in the shower. But kids go through phases, right? That's what I told myself. That's what I told my mom when she called asking why Emma seemed so quiet during their video chats. "She's just adjusting to Jessica being gone," I said. "She'll bounce back." 3 weeks before her 9th birthday, Emma asked me something that should have been a red flag the size of Texas. "Daddy, what happens to kids when their parents can't take care of them anymore?" I was making dinner, half listening while debugging code on my laptop. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "Like if a daddy gets too tired or too sad to be a good daddy. Where do kids go then?" I looked up from my screen, really looked at her for the first time in weeks. She was sitting at our kitchen table, coloring in a book I'd bought her months ago. But she wasn't really coloring, she was just moving the crayon back and forth over the same spot, wearing away the paper. "Emma, why would you ask something like that?" She shrugged, not meeting my eyes. "Just wondering. Honey, I'm never going to be too tired or too sad to take care of you. You're my whole world. You know that, right?" She nodded, but something in her expression made my chest tight. "I know, Daddy. I was just curious. I should have pressed. I should have put down the laptop and sat with her and asked follow-up questions until I understood what was really going on in her head. Instead, I went back to my code, telling myself she was just being a curious kid. 2 weeks later, she asked for her birthday wish. "I only want one thing this year," she said as I tucked her into bed. "What's that, baby girl?" "I want you to promise me something. Anything. Promise me you'll be okay after my birthday." The way she said it made my blood run cold. There was something final about it, something that felt less like a wish and more like a goodbye. "What do you mean, Em? Just promise me you'll still be happy. Even if things change." I sat on the edge of her bed, my full attention finally, completely focused on my daughter. "Emma, what's going on? Why are you talking like this?" "Nothing's going on," she said quickly. "I just want to make sure you'll be okay." "Sweetheart, you're scaring me a little bit. Is there something you want to tell me?" She was quiet for so long I thought she'd fallen asleep. Then, in the smallest voice I'd ever heard from her, "Do you think Mommy left because I was too much trouble?" The question hit me like a physical blow. "Oh, Emma. Oh, baby, no. Mommy didn't leave because of you. Mommy and I had grown-up problems that had nothing to do with you. You are the best thing that ever happened to both of us. But she doesn't call me anymore." And there it was. The truth I'd been avoiding, the reality I'd been too angry at Jessica to properly address with Emma. Jessica had moved to Portland and essentially started a new life. She sent birthday cards and Christmas presents, but the daily phone calls had stopped. The weekend video chats had become sporadic, then non-existent. Sometimes adults get busy with new things and they forget how important it is to stay in touch, I said carefully. But that doesn't mean they love you any less. Emma nodded like she understood, but I could see in her face that she didn't believe me. That night, after she fell asleep, I called Jessica. "Marcus, it's almost midnight there," she said when she answered. "Emma thinks you left because of her." There was a long silence. "That's not true." "I know it's not true. But she doesn't know that. She hasn't heard from you in 3 weeks. I've been busy. David and I just bought a house, and I started a new job, Anne. She's your daughter, Jess. She's our daughter. And she lives with you now. I can't be calling every day when I'm trying to build a new life." The conversation went downhill from there. By the time I hung up, I was angrier than I'd been since the divorce, and Emma was still convinced she was the reason her mother had disappeared from her life. I thought that conversation would help me understand what Emma was going through. I thought I could fix it with extra attention, more one-on-one time, maybe some therapy sessions. I was still missing the bigger picture. The real crisis started 3 days before her birthday. I came home from work early, planning to surprise Emma and start our birthday weekend celebrations. I found her in her room, sitting on her bed with a notebook in her lap, writing intensely. "Hey, birthday girl," I said from the doorway. "What are you working on?" She slammed the notebook shut and shoved it under her pillow so fast it was like she'd been caught with something illegal. "Nothing. Just homework." "Can I see?" "It's private." Something in her tone set off every parental alarm I had. Emma had never been secretive with me. She told me everything, what she ate for lunch, which kids were mean on the playground, what she dreamed about at night. You know you can tell me anything, right? There's nothing you could say that would make me love you less." "I know, Daddy." But she wouldn't show me the notebook. That night, after she went to sleep, I did something I'd sworn I'd never do. I went into her room and looked for that notebook. I found it under her mattress, along with 3 others I didn't know existed. What I read in those pages destroyed me. The first notebook was mostly normal, school assignments, doodles, lists of things she wanted to do when she got older. But as I flipped through the pages, the entries became darker, more concerning. Day 23 since Mom called. Maybe she forgot my number. Day 31 since Mom called. I think she might be mad at me. Day 45 since Mom called. Daddy seems tired all the time. I think taking care of me is too hard. My hands were shaking as I opened the second notebook. I've been thinking about what would happen if I wasn't here anymore. Daddy would have more money because he wouldn't have to buy food for me or clothes or toys. He could work less and be less tired. He could maybe find a new wife who doesn't have kids already. The third notebook was worse. I looked up foster care on Daddy's computer. It doesn't look that bad. Some foster families are really nice. Daddy could visit me sometimes if he wanted to. He just wouldn't have to take care of me every day. But it was the fourth notebook that made me call 911. The entries were dated over the past 2 weeks. Each one was a detailed plan. I could walk to the river after school. It's only 6 blocks. Daddy wouldn't know I was missing until dinner time. Or I could take the bus downtown and just get lost. If I throw away my ID, it would take them longer to figure out who I am. I want to do it on my birthday because then Daddy will remember the date and maybe it will seem special instead of just sad. The final entry was dated for the next day, her birthday. Dear Daddy, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. Please don't be mad at me. I know you love me, but I also know I make your life harder. You work so much and you're always tired and you never smile the way you used to before Mommy left. I think you'll be happier without me. I hope you find someone who can make you laugh again. I love you so much. Please don't forget me, but also don't be too sad. I want you to be happy. Love, Emma. I was sobbing by the time I finished reading. My 8-year-old daughter was planning to run away on her 9th birthday because she thought she was a burden to me. Because she thought I'd be better off without her. How had I missed this? How had I been so focused on work, on providing for her, on managing the logistics of single parenthood, that I'd failed to see my daughter was planning to disappear from my life? I called 911 because I didn't know what else to do. 911, what's your emergency? I think my daughter is planning to hurt herself. She's 8 years old and I found notebooks where she's been planning to run away tomorrow. I don't know what to do. The dispatcher was calm and professional. She walked me through the immediate steps: secure any means Emma might use to harm herself, remove anything she could use to leave the house unsupervised, and call the crisis intervention hotline for children. But mostly, she told me to wake Emma up and talk to her. Sir, your daughter needs to know that you know what she's been thinking, and that you're going to help her work through these feelings. She needs to know she's not alone with this anymore. I hung up and went back to Emma's room. She was sleeping peacefully, clutching the stuffed elephant her mom had given her before she left for Portland. Emma, I said softly, sitting on the edge of her bed. Emma, honey, I need you to wake up. She opened her eyes, confused. Daddy? What's wrong? I found your notebooks. Her face went completely white. She sat up, suddenly fully awake, looking like she was about to run. I'm not in trouble, I said quickly. You're not in trouble. But we need to talk about what you've been writing. You weren't supposed to read those. I know. And I'm sorry I looked through your private things. But Emma, Some of the things you wrote scared me. Really scared me. She started crying then, not the dramatic sobs of a child who's upset about a broken toy, but the quiet, hopeless tears of someone who's been carrying too much weight for too long. I didn't want you to find out, she whispered. Baby girl, I need you to listen to me very carefully, okay? You are not a burden. You do not make my life harder. You are the reason I get up every morning. You are the reason I work hard. You are the reason I try to be a better person every single day. But you're always tired. I'm tired because I'm working a lot, not because of you. I'm working a lot because I want to give you a good life, not because you're expensive or difficult. But Mommy left. Mommy left because Mommy and I couldn't figure out how to be married to each other anymore. It had nothing to do with you. Nothing. She was crying harder now, and I pulled her into my lap like I used to when she was smaller. Emma, I need you to promise me something. If you ever have thoughts about leaving or hurting yourself or disappearing, I need you to come talk to me first. Can you promise me that? She nodded against my chest. And I need you to know that if something happened to you, if you weren't here anymore, I wouldn't be happier. I would be destroyed. My whole world would end. Do you understand that? But you could find a new family. I don't want a new family. I want you. Only you. Forever and always, just you. We sat there crying together until the sun started to come up. That morning, her actual birthday, instead of the party I'd planned, we went to the emergency room and talked to a crisis counselor. Emma told the counselor about feeling like she was too much trouble, about missing her mom, about worrying that I didn't really want to take care of her. The counselor helped us make a safety plan. Emma promised to talk to me or another trusted adult if she ever had thoughts about leaving again. We scheduled regular therapy sessions. And we made a list of things we could do together to help Emma feel more connected and secure. But the biggest change came from something the counselor said to me privately. Mr. Chen, your daughter doesn't need you to work more hours to prove you love her. She needs you to work fewer hours and show her with your time and attention that she's your priority. That afternoon, I called my boss and explained the situation. I negotiated a part-time remote work arrangement that would let me be home when Emma got out of school. Yes, it meant less money. Yes, it meant my career would probably advance more slowly. But it also meant I could be the father Emma needed instead of just the provider I thought she wanted. The notebook entries after her birthday were completely different. Daddy picked me up from school today and we made cookies together. He said work could wait. We had a tea party and Daddy let me put makeup on him. He looked ridiculous but he didn't care. Daddy and I are reading a new book together. He does different voices for all the characters and makes me laugh. It's been 8 months since that night I found the notebooks. Emma is thriving in therapy, we have daily check-ins about how she's feeling, and I've learned to recognize the signs when she's struggling. Jessica started calling regularly again after I told her what had happened. She flies out to visit once a month, and she and Emma video chat twice a week. It's not perfect, but it's better. But the most important thing I learned is that being a good parent isn't about providing everything your child might want or need. It's about being present for everything your child feels and experiences. I almost lost my daughter because I was so busy trying to give her a good life that I forgot to show her she was loved. Emma still has hard days. She still worries sometimes that people will leave her. But now she talks to me about those feelings instead of planning to disappear. And those notebooks. We still have them. Emma decided she wanted to keep them as a reminder of how far she's come. But now she writes different things. Today Daddy and I built a fort in the living room and ate cereal for dinner because we forgot to cook. I told Daddy I was sad about Mom and he didn't try to fix it. He just hugged me and said it was okay to be sad sometimes. Daddy says I'm his favorite person in the whole world. I think he's mine too. Last week, Emma asked me for her 10th birthday wish. I want to help other kids who feel like I used to feel, she said. I want them to know that even when everything seems awful, there are people who love them and want to help. My daughter almost left me forever because she thought she was making my life harder. Now she wants to dedicate her life to making sure no other kid ever feels that way. If that's not proof that the most broken things can become the most beautiful, I don't know what is. The notebooks are still there, tucked away in our memory box, but now they represent something different. They represent the night I almost lost everything, and the morning I learned how to actually be a father.